You've just stepped into the only place where Hornets sting, Panthers growl, and 49ers try not to blow a fourth quarter lead. Welcome to the Buzz and Roar Show, hosted by a guy who loves sports named Ethan. We're talking Queen City sports with just the right amount of bias and way too much caffeine. Let's get it going.
Welcome to the Buzz and Roar Show, like you heard the intro cue say, hosted by a guy who loves sports named Ethan. Okay, we have got a special video today. If you're new here, hit that follow button for more sports content, from what I'm wearing now, Carolina Hurricanes, to mainly Charlotte sports, but you know the overtime segment has a whole bunch of stuff. But today, it is a very special segment, okay? Of course, the Buzz and Roar Show, usually I mainly do Charlotte Hornets and Carolina Panthers, and sometimes the Charlotte 49ers basketball, men's and women's, and sometimes football, but the football season for them is over as they did terrible. That's besides the point, though. Today, instead of the normal, stuff, like the normal Charlotte sports, we are heading right into a little intro cue that I call, as you can probably see on my screen right here, you can see what we're doing, but for the Spotify viewers, they can't see what we're doing. So, if you remember before I switched to a different segment format on this show, I had a thing called the special segment. So let's go ahead and hop right into that, then I'll tell you all what I'm doing, because this special segment is all I'm doing today. Let's go.
Cue the dramatic music we don't have, because it's time for a special segment where Ethan does stuff like games. Most likely reason is because Ethan cannot find anything related to this team to talk about today. So, let's go.
Okay, so welcome to the special segment here on the Buzz and Roar Show. Once again, if you're new here, hit that follow button. If you're not, still hit that follow button. But today on the Buzz and Roar Show, all we're doing is one thing, and I like to call it predicting the college football playoff bracket. Okay, so if you guys aren't new here, you have probably seen my posts about how there are 3 ESPN analysts coming on to the show in December, before the first round, after the first round, after the quarterfinals, after the semifinals, and after the championship. Okay, that is 5 videos in total. 3 of them are ESPN guys. And then the other 2 are people who have came in the past. And we are talking about all the college football playoff drama, all the college football playoff schemes, all the college football playoff anything. Okay, so I wanted to kind of set the tone. Okay, of course I just predicted a bracket with, well, I'm not going to tell you who I predicted the bracket with. I almost revealed the first guy. I almost revealed the first guy. Okay, but, I will reveal him soon because the video will be uploaded probably next week, but that's besides the point. Stick with me here for a second. This week, well, this episode is going to be kind of a shorter one because I'm just predicting the bracket, okay? Kind of like I just did with that interview, the first episode of The Road to the Natty. That's what the series of me going over all college football stuff is going to be called. Well, aside from Road to the Natty, this is what I'm doing, okay? So today, we're just predicting the national championship. It will be different than the one I just predicted with the mystery guest. But a little promo here. If you're not already in the official Buzz and Roar fans group, there have not been many, okay? But I don't care how many people come into this, okay? You can come into this, okay? I mean, I don't care, okay? But let me just give you the invite code. Let's see here. I feel like... But the invite code is on the description, my bio in my Instagram, and my bio in YouTube, and a lot of posts in Instagram and YouTube as well. There's a highlight section in Instagram. I just wanted to give that little promo before we start, because there's only 3 people And you can make 2 brackets. And by the way, whoever wins, if you're a content creator like me, sports or not sports, if you win the college football playoff brackets prediction, then of course you get to see, what am I trying to say? You get to, shout out your channel. That's what I was trying to think of. I'm sorry about that. But, of course, I have 2 brackets. You can make as many as you can make 2. That's the most. But submit your brackets to your group before December 19th. That's when this closes. And by the way, this is who I have winning in my bracket outside of videos. But, so this is not the one I just did with the Mr. Guest, by the way, just to clarify. But this is the one that I'm doing today. So let's go ahead and start. James Madison at Oregon. Okay. I'm going to take Oregon here. I think they're a little more well-built, and I think they are just they have a better defense. I mean, I think in general, I don't want to say that it couldn't be an upset, but I'm going to say on the line, if you had Oregon and James Madison playing, it's a decently easy game. Okay, JMU made it because Duke beat Virginia in the ACC championship, and so, it all depends. Okay, it really does. It all depends. And so, I have Oregon winning the first round. Then, of course, Texas Tech gets the bye. Alabama, Oklahoma. Let's skip that for a second, and let's go and take Ole Miss with the next game. Ole Miss, I feel like they're going to have a sort of revenge story, okay? And I don't know how long it'll last. We will go to the Ole Miss-Georgia game in the Sugar Bowl in a second. But, Ole Miss and Georgia, Ole Miss and Tulane, it's kind of like the Oregon game. If they lose, that would be a legacy that could have been built, but that wasn't built. And you see, I don't think even with an interim coach, Ole Miss is going to lose to Tulane. Now, I will say, if I had to pick between Tulane and James Madison, who is more likely to beat their team, it is Tulane, for sure. I think Tulane could very well make it to the Sugar Bowl against Georgia in the next round. But as of now, I'm taking the safe picks for those 2 games. I think Ole Miss has got a great offense and a great defense, really, and then same with Oregon. They're just well-built, and I think that'll be some easy games. Then, of course, Georgia gets the bye. I've already said that. Ohio State gets the bye, and Indiana and Texas Tech get the bye. Then Miami and Texas A&M. This is another really good one. Of course, we'll go back to Alabama and Oklahoma in a second, but Miami and Texas A&M. I am going to say, okay, I feel like both of these teams are kind of inconsistent sometimes. Sometimes they're kind of inconsistent, but guess what? I'm going to have, no lie, I'm going to have Carson Beck and Miami's magic, their magical offense and defense they're not inconsistent this week, okay? It is the first round of the playoffs. Carson Beck I think he's already won 1 championship. I may be very wrong about that with Georgia, but either way, he wants one, okay? He wants one bad with Miami. So, it would be huge if we won it. I think he's going to barely squeak by. That'll be a fun matchup. Then Bama and Oklahoma, I think, based on what I've seen in the SEC championship, if you really take what schemes Oklahoma uses, they have an air raid offense, okay? What did Georgia do against Alabama in the SEC championship? They did a lot of, deep passes, just beat them deep with the tight end on a little, merge route down the middle of the field. And so I'm taking Oklahoma for that one because they do run a air raid offense, and I think it's going to take that one apart. Then let's go Ole Miss and Georgia. We're going to take Georgia with that one. Okay, I think Georgia has got the better built team in general, of course. I think Georgia and Ole Miss will, in general, move on. Okay, I think Georgia will move on, and I think Ole Miss, this is where they start to kind of remember the Lane Kiffin drama. I feel like some of the, we could see some headlines of, maybe the Georgia players start commenting on it during the game. They're like, oh, y'all's coach left you for a reason or something like that. You never know what could really happen. So I do think Georgia's going to win it, and I think it'll be still close based on what I've seen from the Ole Miss defense lately, but I do think Georgia's taking that one. Then Miami, Ohio State. I do have Ohio State winning this one, but that is not to take away from the fact that Miami could very well win it, okay? And, I very well want to put Miami in the semifinals because they very well could. They really could. But I'm going to take Ohio State for that one. Then Oregon and Texas Tech. Weirdly enough, okay, I am going to say the Oregon Ducks last season got beat in the first round. I think this season they get beat in the second round, the quarterfinals. I think Texas Tech's offense, and people say defense wins championships all the time, but Texas Tech's defense is really good too, but I don't want to take away from their offense. I think even if Texas Tech's defense allows 60 points, I think Texas Tech's offense has what it takes to score 60 against Oregon. Okay, Texas Tech is all around such a good built team. Okay, and I think that it very well could be a win for Texas Tech. Then Oklahoma and Indiana. This is where it starts getting me a little because we saw Indiana beat Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship, okay? But we also see Oklahoma once again with that air raid offense. But you got to think of it, okay, for a second. Oklahoma, they're really good on offense. But can their defense stop Indiana's offense? But then you go back to Indiana only scoring 13 points against Ohio State's defense. And so you think, okay, well, can Indiana's offense beat Oklahoma's defense? So you wonder both sides. But in general, I think I'm going to, no lie, take Oklahoma getting the upset and beating number 1 Indiana. Okay, and it is going to be a wild game. I think that they have. Listen, I'm not saying it was a fluke game for Indiana because that's kind of what the term they use these days. I'm not saying it was a fluke game, but I'm saying I feel like it wasn't as powerful. Like I feel like Indiana isn't as powerful and as good as people really think. Now, I will say, they went 13-0. They have beat some crazy teams. Of course, Ohio State, Penn State, their record says otherwise, but they are pretty good. Of course, Oregon, okay, Oregon is really good and they beat them. Michigan State, they went 4-8, but they are historic for upsetting teams. Of course, Kennesaw State, they went 10-3. They did not play much competition, but of course, they lost 56-9. So that is a great win against a 10-3 team. And then Illinois, early on in the year, Illinois was ranked, and they still, they actually aren't right now, but they are way better once again than people really say. And so in general, I would say Indiana has that big-time strength of competition, but I don't know if they have as much strength of competition as Oklahoma did this year because they played LSU, who, before you say anything, is better than what their record says. Because I get it's been a disappointing year for those Tigers fans on the LSU side and Clemson side for the record, but they're way better than the record says. And Michigan, they beat them. Michigan's way better than people say. Okay, they are 9-3. You got to give them some grace. Auburn, they went 5-7. But to put this out there, Auburn almost beat Alabama, who Oklahoma just beat. Okay, so that's a pretty decent win too. Of course, Texas, that's always a pretty decent win, no matter how bad they are, really. South Carolina, of course, they went 4-8. They were really bad this year. You got to take into account. But they've got some good players on the offensive side of the ball. So, you got to also think of it that way. Ole Miss, they're a really, really good team. And they had Lane Kiffin at the time. And guess what? Oklahoma only lost to them 34-26. So I think if they really get their minds right, and if they really don't struggle this game, then I really do think that Oklahoma could win that game. Now we have the semifinals. Georgia against Ohio State, and then Oklahoma against Texas Tech to lead to the national championship. I'm just going to put 200 here because this is a real bracket. Okay, so Georgia and Ohio State. Let's say Georgia and Ohio State do make it. Who in the regular season, let's paint a little picture for you. If you were betting, like you had to don't bet, by the way, kids, but if you had to pick one team right now, Georgia or Ohio State, which team would you choose to beat the other? Okay, which would you choose? And I have my pick. Okay, Ohio State. You can argue their strength of competition. If you have not checked out the TJ Pittenger episode about 3.5, 4 episodes ago, well, it couldn't be a half, but you know I'm talking about 3 or 4, maybe 5 episodes ago with TJ Pittenger. He's a great college football analyst. That's another shout. I'm getting a lot of shout outs lately because I keep talking about college football. We argued that. We said, okay, could you look at the strength of the competition? Only beating Texas, who at the time was very inconsistent, by 7 points. Beating Ohio by, 22 or 20, I think it's 26, something around there. Washington, at Washington, beating them 24-6. Like, those are some pretty hefty games. But then you get to, let me read out their schedule. Of course, Texas we just wrote off. Let's just say that wasn't a thing. Because, they only beat them by 7. So that's not what you really want to see from a number 2 or number 1 seed. So then you go Grambling State, Ohio, Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin. All of those teams finished with just about the same record, which was 8-4 and below. Then you go Penn State, once again 6-6, Purdue 2-10, UCLA 3-9, Rutgers 5-7. Then Michigan, you have a 9-3 team. That was their best team. Then, of course, after all that arguing about the strength of competition, Ohio State finally gets to play, quote, this is a quote from an analyst, Ohio State finally gets to play, quote, real competition. Indiana. And guess what they do? They lose. So that's why I was kind of arguing on whether you should pick Ohio State or Miami. But if I was betting this, okay, I would pick Georgia to beat Ohio State. So that is what I'm putting on the table. Georgia has had a lot more strength of competition this year, and they're 12-1. They play in the SEC. If you're in the SEC, you got to play a lot of great teams, and they really have this year, okay? A lot more great teams than Ohio State has, and they're the number 3 seed. Ohio State is number 2. Then we go to the semifinals on the other side. So Georgia's in the national championship. Texas Tech against Oklahoma. Let's go back to talking about the style of play, okay? Texas Tech and Oklahoma basically play the exact same style. They both have like air raid offenses, throw it 90 yards down the field, and they both have wonderful defensive lines. So I'm going to put this out there. If these two teams do play in the semifinals, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl semifinals, then Oklahoma and Texas Tech, whoever runs the ball better, is going to end up winning this game, okay? And in general, if I was to choose between Texas Tech to run the ball better and Oklahoma, I would choose Cameron Dickey and the Texas Tech Raiders. Okay? I would. Now, that's not saying, Oklahoma doesn't have a good running back room in their rushing stats, but, they have passed the ball so much. Torrey Blaylock. Sorry, I read the name wrong. But Torrey Blaylock, their best rusher, has only 10 yards more than their quarterback rushing this year. So if whoever runs the ball more is going to get the dub because of the defensive line play. Whoever runs the ball better, not more, but better, then Texas Tech would get the dub in that situation. So then you go to Georgia and Texas Tech. Now, of course, I told you it would be a different pick than Georgia. So this is where I kind of start to think, how do I make Texas Tech win this game? Okay, how do I say Texas Tech is a national championship? And yes, I will put this out here. That is my final pick. I think Texas Tech has got a great built team. And once again, I've got 3 different brackets, okay? I had Georgia winning one. I had Texas Tech winning this one. Then in a week when that mystery guest, the Road to the Natty series starts, you will see my prediction for the other one. It's actually way different than what I just predicted. But this is my 3rd one. And I think Texas Tech has got a chance, okay? I think they've got a little sliver of hope, okay? Because Texas Tech, right, they have got, once again, Georgia and Texas Tech, both great D-lines, okay? But you start to think a little. Georgia's got a great passing defense. So then who would win in the passing defense category if we're once again going off stats? Well, Georgia has a great passing defense. You would kind of have to argue that Texas Tech passes the ball a ton. Of course, they run the ball a ton, as we just said, but they pass the ball a lot. Their quarterback has averaged 250 yards per game in the air and 22 touchdowns, 4 picks. So, of course, you're curious, how can I make Texas Tech win this ball game? Well, that's when you look at their receiving core. Is their receiving core possibly better than the Georgia corners? Well, you could argue that. I mean, in Caleb Douglas and Reggie Virgil and stuff like that, or Coy Eakin, you got to put him in there. But the reason why I think Texas Tech wins this game won't be because of the receivers and won't be because of the running backs. It'll be because of how, well, and it won't be because of Bayron Morton either. It'll be because the way Texas Tech's offensive linemen play this game, okay? We have seen in the past the offensive linemen of this Texas Tech team has done so good, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So, in summary, I have Texas Tech winning the national championship basically from just how their offensive line plays. Because, of course, we talked about Georgia. Their defensive line is going to get into you, okay? They're going to crash in. They're going to go outside, try and get the quarterback at the same time. But I think that Texas Tech O-line is going to stop the Georgia defense. And, of course, once again, I have 3 brackets. Georgia's winning one of them, but Texas, this is probably one of my more non-confident but also really likely ones. So this is one that I'm like, okay, it very well could happen, but you wonder if it's going to. Because, like, I mean, Oklahoma, are they going to make the semifinals and beat Indiana in round 2? I mean, that's a thing to talk about. Georgia and Ohio State in the semifinals, I think that's a pretty decent argument. But, I mean, it could very well, as you see on my screen if you're on YouTube, be Indiana and Oregon in the championship. I mean, in the semifinals. So, I mean, it's just, you argue a lot of stuff. There's no way to predict it on the dot. But I do think Texas Tech, as I submit my second bracket, is going to win the national championship. By the way, once again, here is the Buzz and Roar Show group, okay? Here's the Buzz and Roar Show group. If you want to join it, it's on my Instagram. It's on my, a lot of posts on YouTube has it. It's. I mean, there's the password, and then there's the normal thing. But yeah, you have to have a password because it's private. I want it to be private so not just everybody in the world can join, okay? So, thank you guys for watching. That is literally going to do it. I told y'all it was going to be so simple today. And yeah, I mean, once again, copy that group password in. It's BANDR, okay? And that is going to do it, y'all. Thanks for watching so much. Check out my Instagram, well, my podcast Instagram in the link down below. Check out my YouTube channel if you're on Spotify, and my Spotify if you're on YouTube. Go follow everything, okay? My goals by the end of May 2026 is to have 500 subs and more than 3 million watch hours, which, by the way, is the exact requirements to get paid for this. So yes, I'm trying to get paid by May 2026. May 2027, I'm trying to have 100,000 subscribers. Then May 2028, I'm trying to have 1 million subscribers. And I think this college football stuff this December with all these ESPN guys, oh yeah, them coming on the show, oh yeah, they're going. I hope and this is going to blow up just from that. Okay. And so once again, thanks for watching. Go check out the Instagram. Once again, if you're new, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow on Instagram. If you're watching a little short whatevers, then once again, go check out the Instagram. Go check out whatever, okay? I've got, once again, 3 things. And I have a Discord in the link on my YouTube. Not many people have checked that out, but I'm going to have a Discord too. There's only 3 people in that whole server, but yeah. More people can join that as well. So, thanks for watching. See y'all next Monday, okay? I'll see y'all next Monday for the next episode of the Buzz and Roar Show. See y'all, and see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Buzz and Roar. We talk about sports, all kinds of sports. If you like the show, hit subscribe or follow. We'll be back soon with more stuff to share. Thanks again, and see you next time.